In 1996, the world watched in horror as a tragedy unfolded on the icy slopes of Everest. It was a disaster that would change the face of mountaineering forever. Of all the tales of tragedies on the mountains, this is perhaps one of the most harrowing. Mount Everest, the highest mountain on Earth, is atop many mountaineers' bucket list, and while it is not necessarily one of the most technical, it can be one of the most deadly. This story shows just how inhospitable the mountains can be. The stunning beauty of Mount Everest belies the danger that lurks on its slopes. In 1996, a group of climbers learned this lesson the hard way in a tragedy that shook the world. Mount Everest is the highest peak in the world, with an elevation of 29,029 feet, or 8,848 meters. It is located in the Mahalungur Himal sub-range of the Himalayas, on the border between Nepal and Tibet, or China. Known as one of the most lethal years in Everest's history, 1996 saw the deaths of 15 climbers, 8 of whom died on the 10th of May. On this day, 33 climbers from 3 groups, Mountain Madness, a government-funded Taiwanese group, and adventure consultants, were attempting to reach the summit. Guides had forgotten to set up fixed ropes in advance, and so the groups were delayed for over 2 hours on their ascent. The result of these delays meant that a buildup of climbers caused a bottleneck at the Hillary step, and many summited very late, past the recommended summit time of 2 p.m., which allows for a safe descent back to camp. Anatoly Bukriv, who was the first to summit that day, left the groups and returned by himself to Camp 4. Climber and journalist John Krakur criticized the Russian in the aftermath of May 10th for not helping others on his way down. But since then, he has become recognized for saving others who could have died that night. Bukriv reached Camp 4 at 5 p.m., but even then, there were still climbers trying to get to the top. By 5:30 p.m., a blizzard had blown in, burying the fixed ropes that had been placed and any trail that the groups had blazed on their ascent. By this time, all hell was beginning to break loose for the climbers. 2 Gaoming Ho from China and American Scott Fisher were stranded and unable to descend below the balcony, a small rocky platform at 8,400 meters. Adventure consultant guide Rob Hall was stuck on the Hillary step with his client Doug Hansen, who had lost consciousness. Hall radioed for help, and fellow guide Andy Harris bravely turned back with oxygen and water for the duo. As the blizzard got worse, several climbers from both groups, Mountain Madness's Neil Biedleman, Pete Schoening, Charlotte Fox, Tim Madsen, Sandy Pittman, and Lean Gamlegard, along with adventure consultants Mike Groom, Beck Weathers, and Yakuso Namba, became lost on the South Col and were forced to bivvy just 20 meters from a huge drop on the Kangshung face. Biddleman, Groom, Schoening, and Gamlegard set off to find help when the blizzard eased for a moment. When the foursome reached Camp 4, Bukriv set off and located the stranded climbers, bringing Fox, Madsen, and Pittman to safety, while choosing to leave Namba and Weathers as they were in hypothermic comas and close to death. Sherpas were sent to check on them the next day, only to find that they were so covered in ice that it had to be chipped off their faces. Once again, the pair were left as they were presumed dead. Shortly after, Weathers regained consciousness and, in a feat of extreme human endurance, stumbled onto his frostbitten feet and staggered half-blind, his eye had frozen over, to Camp 4. The next day at 4:43 a.m., Hall radioed in from the Hillary step, stating that Hansen was gone and Harris was missing. Later in the afternoon, still stuck on the mountain, he requested base camp to call his wife for him. In an emotional exchange, Hall told her, "Sleep well, my sweetheart. Please don't worry too much." He was found dead on May 23rd. As the storm eased, Sherpas rescued the frozen Gao, and Bukriv once again ascended in an attempt to rescue Fisher. At 7 p.m., he found his frozen body. Had it not been for the Russian, more could have died on that fateful day. A year later, Bukriv himself died while making an attempt on Annapurna. But the 1996 Everest disaster serves as a stark reminder of the dangers that come with pursuing such a lofty goal. It is a sobering reminder that even the most experienced climbers can fall victim to the unpredictable and unforgiving conditions of the mountain. It serves as a wake-up call to all climbers to respect the power of nature and to always be prepared for the worst.